Coming up in this episode, can this man of mega proportions manage to meander his way through this manic mission? Can 3 random zealots show their zeal and zero in with some zip and zoom to reach this challenge's zenith? And will a professional tennis player serve up adequate competition, or will the ball remain firmly in her opponent's court? Welcome to the Games Master Retrospective, where we take a nostalgic nosedive through episodic exploration into the series that showcase the best and worst of gaming's golden era. It must have been a particularly chilly day on the day of filming, as Dom makes several references to the cold throughout the show, including our very first addition to the ongoing Dominic innuendo counter for this episode.
Now, I know it's cold out there, but if you set your chilly bits out in front of this show, they'll thaw out in no time. For this is the programme that is to television what a knob of hot butter is to a crumpet. On tonight's show, we will attempt to unwrap video games from the neon swaddling clothes and deliver news, tips and reviews into the matronly bosom of your living room.
What the bloody hell are you talking about, Dominic?
Greetings. So once again, you've tuned in to pit your wits against one of my little challenges. You really are gluttons for punishment, aren't you? Lifting us off tonight is a young superhero by the name of Mega Man 2.
Mega Man 2 was released in 1988 for the NES and perfected the overall Mega Man formula. Battle 8 Robot Masters, steal their weapons, and save the world from Dr. Wily. With its tight controls, non-linear level design, and legendary soundtrack, it catapulted the series to fame. The Mega Man franchise now boasts over 50 games, including spin-offs like Mega Man X and Battle Network. A 1980s blueprint for precision gameplay, its legacy endures as a cornerstone of retro gaming, and a reminder that sequels can outshine originals.
Your task is to guide him through the satanic Heatman level in under 3 minutes without losing a life. For ultimate success, you'll need to leap from block to block over molten lava, avoiding all manner of metallic villains. Negotiate secret chambers where blocks appear at random, and finally, polish off Heatman himself, a most troublesome end-of-level guardian. Let's hope this little challenge won't be too hot for you to handle.
And here to help me commentate on this game, from Mean Machines magazine, is Nintendo expert Julian Jazz Rignall. Julian, welcome back to Games Master.
Thank you.
Our first challenger is Nick Kierencroft from Muswell Hill, swaggering to the stage in a red American football top. Dom asks Nick if Mega Man is one of his favourite games, to which he replies,
No, unfortunately.
Are you pretty confident about the challenge?
Well, I hope so. The easiest bit is probably the start, the hardest bit is the end. So.
Okay, well that sounds a bit logical. So are you ready, Nick?
Yes?
Off you go.
Nick gets off to a good start, ducking and weaving between enemies and leaping over lava-filled caverns. However, a mistimed jump sees him taking a molten bath early on, and Jazza couldn't sound less interested.
Yeah, he was quite lucky. When you get hit, you you keep invincible for a few minutes and a few seconds rather. And basically, he survived that one.
Nick's platforming prowess appears to be mostly on point, taking on the first disappearing block section with ease. However, this appears to give him a touch of overconfidence, as this mishap occurs shortly after. Sadly, Nick wasn't able to stand the heat and had to get out of the proverbial kitchen. Dom, of course, will take any opportunity for a quick double entendre.
Jazz and I were getting really hot and sweaty up in the commentary box about it, but you just let us down.
That's the face of a child who realises they might be in danger.
I felt a rather more cerebral challenge would be timely. I have therefore opted for Zoom.
Zoom was a faux 3D puzzler by Discovery Software, released for the Amiga, Commodore 64 and DOS in 1988, before being ported to the Mega Drive in 1990. Players control Mr. Smart as they skate around an isometric grid, completing squares while avoiding enemies and collecting power-ups. The Mega Drive port was received very badly at the time, earning a 3 out of 10 from Electronic Gaming Monthly, with one reviewer stating it was easily the worst game to yet appear on the system at the time.
In which you need to complete a series of grids by drawing a line all around the squares. The task I've set aside for you is to complete the first grid in less than 1 minute. A stern test of nerve and logic. Watch out for the green hand, which will be trying its hardest to gobble you up. The first grid to complete in less than 1 minute. Face away.
And joining me in the pulpit is Neil West from Sega Power. Welcome, Neil.
Hi, Dominic.
Now, Neil, any general tips you can give our contestants for this difficult 1 minute challenge?
Well, looks can be deceptive, and although Zoom looks very easy, it is in fact very, very tricky indeed. Don't forget you can jump, and don't forget that you can fire at the baddies behind you.
Spoiler alert, the players will in fact forget both of these things. For the second Golden Joystick Challenge, Dom decides to mix things up by picking 3 random members of the audience to participate. And of course, asks in the most Dominic way possible.
So if there's anyone out there who fancies their chances at the Zoom challenge, please thrust one of your arms up into the air.
Dom chooses his victims, sorry, I mean volunteers, and invites them on stage.
Okay, welcome to Games Master. What's your name? Scott. Scott, hello there. And our second man up.
George.
George, it's nice to see you. And our lovely lady contestant.
Dolat.
Dom chooses the order of play here, going Scott, Dolat, then George. But something's bugging me, and I can't quite put my finger on what it is.
Okay, Scott, are you ready? Then your 1 minute begins now.
Scott is up first, and seems to be doing well, until a mistimed movement brings his session to a premature end.
It's easy to do it at the start, but when you're only left with a couple of blocks to fill in different corners of the maze...
Oh my
it's all
God,
over.
and he's gone. He's been gazumped by the green hand. Can we have our second contestant, please? The lovely Dolat. Are you ready, Dolat? Then your 1 minute begins...
Okay, let's stop for a second here. I think it's time to introduce a new segment to the show. Is this person a plant? Yes, she is. This is Dolat Kaur, makeup artist for the show at the time. See, she even has her name in the credits. Now the question is, how well will she do at this challenge?
Begins now.
And the answer, sadly, is not very well.
That's right, if she can keep doing what she's doing, which is going from the top to the bottom, back to the top again, the monster can't keep up with her.
Oh no! And just as we thought she was going well, Dolat gazumped as well. Now, Neil, was there anything positive about Dolat's performance?
Not for Dolat, no. But what George can learn is that you must jump.
Okay, let's hope George can take that on board. George, you're our final contestant. Are you ready? Then your 1 minute begins now.
It would appear that all hopes rest on George. Will he be able to keep a steady hand and complete the challenge?
This is going to be very, very close. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
I
4,
don't think he's going to make
3,
it. He's not going to make
2,
it. Oh, and he got eaten at the
he's
last
just
minute.
bought it.
Disaster.
Oh my word, he was so close, but George has been scoffed.
Ever the consummate professional, Dom has some comforting words for our flock of failures.
Well, what can I say? That was a very, very tough challenge, but I was left unfulfilled. Scott, plank. Dolat, plank. George, you came so very, very close, but ultimately, plank. Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for our 3 planks. George, Dolat, Scott. This week it's time to shift your gear sticks as we look at racing games. Set! Go! First up on the Amiga, put your feet to the floor with Lotus Turbo Challenge 2.
The sound and graphics really are absolutely brilliant. I mean, it's showcase stuff.
I think it's great fun for the novice drivers, but you know, it tends to get a little bit boring after a while.
Second on the grid tonight, burn some rubber on your Amiga in Formula 1 Grand Prix.
Very sophisticated, certainly for the Nigel Mansell, certainly for the serious racers.
It's very fast indeed and plays excellently. Absolutely smart with a capital S, basically. I mean, it's just like being there.
Sometimes a game is going to pop up on here which needs a little extra love. And this is one of them. Formula 1 Grand Prix, also known as World Circuit, was released in 1991 for the Amiga, Atari ST, and DOS. It revolutionized racing sims with its full 3D polygonal engine, real-world circuits, and dynamic weather. Developed by Microprose, it combined realistic physics with strategic pit stop planning, as well as the option to tune variables like gear ratios, tire compounds, and wing settings. The game set the standard by raising the bar for racing sims at the time, and its legacy lives on in the Grand Prix series, as well as a modding community that is still active to this day.
Bringing up the derriere on the Master System, frolic your way across the landmarks of Europe in Outrun Europa.
The Master System doesn't cope with 3D racing games very well indeed, but it's quite fun if a little jerky at times. The graphics aren't fantastic. In fact, at times they're a little bit crap. But yeah, it's quite a nice game.
Now for our new game section. One of this year's most eagerly awaited computer releases is Dune.
Oh, sure, yeah. I'll try and unpack the behemoth that is Dune in a brief pause section. Why not? Broadly speaking, Dune is Frank Herbert's epic sci-fi saga set on the desert planet Arrakis, where warring noble houses battle for control of spice, a mind-enhancing drug critical to interstellar travel. Its dense labyrinthine lore spans ecology, religion, and political intrigue, whilst also throwing giant sandworms into the mix. Adapted into films, games like this one, and its more popular sequel, as well as countless novels, its universe is so vast, 40-odd seconds can barely scratch the sand.
Here to give us an exclusive sneak preview is Ian Mathias from Virgin Games.
Dune, the game, it is based on the movie of the same name. The strongest features of the game are the incredible graphics, the sound. The game is very, very much like, we call it an interactive movie. That means that the player is actually taking the part of Paul, and it is very much like playing inside a movie.
Now we go on to our celebrity challenge, and here to detail it, once again, is the Games Master.
Hello again. I do hope you enjoyed my last little jaunt. Wasn't quite up to it, was he? For the second of this week's challenges, I thought a little cross-court rallying on Pro Tennis Tour 2 would be in order.
Pro Tennis Tour 2, aka Great Courts 2, aka Jimmy Connors Pro Tennis Tour, was released in 1991 by German studio Blue Byte Software for the Amiga, Atari ST, and DOS. It improved upon its predecessor with smoother controls, tournament modes, and strategic shot selection, though overshadowed by later releases like Smash Tennis. Its realism and tactical depth earned it praise. Blue Byte later struck gold with the Settlers series, but this game remains a niche footnote and an ace take on tennis as a whole.
I must confess to being a bit of a cricket man myself, but of course that game takes too long. Anyway, mustn't ramble, and tennis it is. First person to 3 games wins. Give it your best shot.
And here to pound their balls along the baseline tonight, we have Saeed Hersey from Mile End, and he'll be taking on former British ladies #1, Annabel Croft.
Annabel Croft is a British tennis prodigy of the 1980s, turned pro at 16 and ranked 24th in the world by 1985. Retiring at 21, she pivoted to broadcasting, appearing in popular UK shows like Treasure Hunt and Interceptor. Known for her elegance on and off court, she's also a charity advocate and TV personality. A fleeting but impactful career, blending athletic prowess with a lasting legacy beyond the baseline.
Now, Saeed, you've got quite a formidable task here, up against the experience of Annabel Croft. How are you going to handle it?
Mostly by luck and probably by the hits I gave her.
Right, you got quite a firm right hand, Saeed, yeah? Well, how are you going to counter that, Annabel, against the young pretender from Mile End?
Well, I've been out running every day for this match, so I'm hopefully prepared for him, but I think he's quite good.
Here with me in my pulpit commentary box is the lovely Tom Watson from Renegade. Tom, bit of a tough encounter this for Annabel.
Well, I was watching Saeed playing earlier. He had a couple of practice games. He looks fairly potent in this one. I think he'll do well.
Saeed and Annabel serve up rally after rally while appearing to have a generally good time. The first set goes to Annabel, and there's a lot of love from the audience with every point scored.
Annabel returns that one very well.
Oh, yeah. Excellent shot there. And this is the width of the court coming into play now, don't it?
After much back and forth, Annabel secures her second set. Can she go the distance and secure a golden joystick as well?
Oh, lovely little return. Oh, it's great.
And that's it.
Yes, indeed! Annabel comes up aces and is our first celebrity golden joystick winner.
Okay, well, yeah. Annabel, I know you've won many prizes already in tennis, but none as prestigious or indeed large as this one. You have won our amazing, mystical golden joystick.
Hello, Games Master.
Welcome to my kingdom. I am delighted to see you. And what have you got to ask me?
I've heard there is a secret room on the first level of Alex Kidd. I've looked everywhere for it, but I can't find it. Is there any way you can help me?
Alex Kidd in Miracle World was Sega's 1986 flagship platformer for the Master System, starring the titular hero in a game that has far more backstory than any platformer in the mid-80s has any right to have. Pre-installed on later Master System consoles, Alex briefly served as Sega's mascot before being ousted by Sonic the Hedgehog's 1991 debut. Despite floaty ice rink-like controls and odd rock-paper-scissors boss fights, its quirky charm made it a nostalgic 80s icon. A cult relic of pre-Sonic Sega, it's now revered in retro revivals like the 2021 remake.
I must admit, it's an awfully long time since I've had to preoccupy myself with Alex Kidd. However, if I recall correctly, there's a secret room next to the palm tree just past the third chest. Simply jump up and down to break the blocks on the ground, and the room will reveal itself.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
On to the next, please.
Hello, Games Master.
Hello, and delighted to see you.
I've been playing Cadaver for over a month now. I can't get past the dragon. He fries me every time. What am I doing wrong?
Cadaver, developed by the Bitmap Brothers and released in 1990 by Imageworks, was a groundbreaking isometric action puzzle game for the Amiga, Atari ST, and DOS. Players explored a grim, trap-filled dungeon as Caradoc the Dwarf, solving intricate puzzles and battling monsters with magic. Praised for its slick visuals, moody atmosphere, and clever level design, it blended strategy with arcade flair and inspired dungeon crawlers for decades to come.
A good question, young man, but this is indeed a most tenacious reptile. Follow these instructions carefully. Once you're into the dragon room, call up your inventory and drink the fire shield spell to protect you. Then select the massacre spell that you should have collected from Lord Carolus' altar in the chapel, and fire it to finish off this troublesome creature once and for all.
Right, thanks a lot.
I wish you success with this one. Right, on to the next, please.
Hello, Games Master. In Turtles, I cannot get off level 3. What shall I do?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, rebranded as Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles in Europe to tone down the alleged ninja violence, was released on the NES by Konami in 1989. Still known to this day as a tough-as-nails side-scrolling beat-em-up, it charmed players with its cartoon-accurate sprites and catchy music. Infamous for its underwater bomb defusal level, as well as quirky platforming and hit detection, its colourful comic book flair made it a cult classic, a nostalgic relic of the 80s Turtles craze where difficulty was part of the charm.
My, you are behind, aren't you? Now listen carefully. To get off level 3, you need to rescue Splinter, who's in the building at the center of the map. Defeat Mega Turtle, and you'll go on to the next level.
Thanks very much.
Not at all. That's it for now. I do tend to tire rather easily these days. However, if you'd like to tune in next week, I'd be delighted to answer any more questions you might have. Bye for now.
And that's it for tonight. It's time now for a lovely cup of orange zinger, and we'll see you all again next week for another Games Master. Good night.
And that is game, set, and match for our third episode. I hope we didn't serve up too many foul balls for you, but if we did, please let us know where we're at fault in the comments. I hope this series is bringing back fond memories for you, or at least giving you a window into the nostalgic 90s. If you've enjoyed this episode, please give it a like. And if you want to follow along with the rest of this deep dive into Games Master, please consider hitting that subscribe button. And as always, remember, don't be a dick.